I'm live. Yay. They gave you a message to show that this is episode 2. I'm back again to talk about whatever is on my mind. And if you enjoy the conversation, join in. Um, Nothing is rather casual. I'm reading. Learning as I go. I am a full time student. I do not do hair. I do not do makeup. I do wear a lot of hats so that I can get away without doing those things. I try to keep myself busy. I'm a pretty busy person. I'm unpacking my house. There is stuff everywhere. If you saw behind this camera, you would see boxes and boxes and stacks of stuff. I'm not trying to give everybody anxiety, so I won't show you just how chock full our house is of all the things and nowhere to put things away. I don't have shelves really much for storage solutions, so things just stay in boxes. And as a full time student, I will be starting up on Monday with 2 new classes. I don't know what the 2 classes are yet. I haven't looked because I just don't need to know. I'm not going to worry about things that I don't need to know about. But this morning has been, pretty productive already. Got my kids off to school. My husband leaves before I wake up, and he works down in the city of Toronto usually. And my kids go to school in a Catholic public school that's right behind our house. It's like if they call me, I can be there at the front door in 4 minutes. And uh, so it's the Canadian system. So they do have Catholic public school and regular public school, and also private schools to choose from. And we choose this one because our relatives also attend there. So our kids already know people and they have connections before they even walk in the door. I had a coffee this morning. I put in a tablespoon of sugar. I put in a tablespoon of instant coffee mix, and I put in a tablespoon of hot chocolate mix. I don't know if there is any lactose in that, but I guess it's a small enough dose that it doesn't really give me stomach cramps and all of that because, on the whole, I am lactose intolerant and nobody wants to be around that. And then I discovered from my lactose intolerance, I read an article somewhere online. Sorry, I'm not going to cite my source like a good college student, but somewhere I read online that if you do have lactose intolerance, you might, and you also have like a lot of anxiety, you might want to consider you could have um, a gluten intolerance as well. So I was like, well, I'm not going to go get tests and find out, but I can run my own little trial at home. And I cut um, wheat gluten out of my diet, and it worked. It really brought my anxiety down. So I thought, hey, that's good for me. That is good for me. So I stopped with gluten, and I have slowly found things that I can have. Like some people who are gluten intolerant cannot have oatmeal, but I can have oats and oatmeal. So as I think as long as it's within reason, right? If I have half a cup of oatmeal once a week or something, I find that it doesn't irritate my system to the point of raising my level of anxiety. Probably the caffeine raises my level of anxiety, jitters. I think I prefer getting caffeine from tea. I find that gives me energy and doesn't give me jitters. But my doctor recommended that I have a coffee a day. I think I saw recently someone online said 2 scoops was a like in the instant coffee was a serving, but I only do one. So maybe I'm only giving half a dose of coffee a day. I'm okay with half a dose, but I add 3 cups of fluid. So usually 2 cups are hot water, and then the last third is almond milk. because I like almond milk. And I like the chocolate flavored almond milk. I don't know if you've seen that on the shelf in your store, but it comes in a Tetra Pak. It's not in the freezer section. It's not with the dairy, but it is in our coffee aisle. So I pick up, I don't know what aisle, it's at Walmart, almond milk, and they have vanilla, chocolate, and plain. And I tolerate the plain just fine, but because I'm adding the chocolate milk powder in anyway, that almond milk with chocolate flavoring makes it even richer, and I do enjoy that. So I actually finished my coffee, and with my coffee, I had my regular pills. I had my extra estrogen, which, while it may be good for me because I have low estrogen, according to the doctors, they uh it's giving me like symptoms. It's giving me acne on my face like I'm a teenager again, and I don't enjoy that. So it's not because my face is dirty or oily or that I don't clean myself. It's this hormone inside my body is causing this breakout. And it's like under the skin and painful. Um, it's not fun. Not fun. So when I go see the doctor next time, I'm gonna complain. tell tell that doctor, look, I understand that it's got its benefits because, I'm a woman and I need a certain amount of estrogen. Maybe that's why I don't like doing hair and makeup. I don't have enough estrogen in my system to care about femininity. But I've always been that way since childhood. Femininity has not been my thing. I was that 80s kid with skin knees riding around the neighborhood on my bike while my sister was like, why don't you play Barbies with me? I don't know. Does Barbie want to ride a bike? No, Barbie wants to drive around in a Corvette and look pretty. Not interested. Not, and I'm also not interested in cars. Cars don't interest me other than that they're utilitarian role. I'm very utilitarian. I think that's one of the reasons I really enjoyed my time in the army is a lot of it was based on utilitarianism. If it works, do it. If it doesn't work, don't do it. Change it, do what works, do the minimum, right? You don't need three types of toothpaste. You have limited amount of space, so you have your one tube of toothpaste and it has its place. That kind of a thing. It really appeals to me. Anyway, I took my estrogen. I took my cranberry supplement, which I made a mental note to myself to remind my husband to add that to the shopping list. He keeps a running list on his phone, and we have a list of things that we do buy, and we don't need them every week or every 2 weeks or whenever we go to the store. So we check the things that we do want to buy. So he keeps that on his phone, and I just have to let him know, highlight that one for next time. And if it misses this week, the following week would be fine. It's not an emergency. I probably have plenty left for a while. After the cranberry, I took vitamin D, very important because I don't drink milk, which is fortified with vitamin D. I do take a vitamin D supplement, or I risk becoming depressed in February, March, because it's the great white north here up in Toronto area. Um, and I notice it. I really feel the difference, and I will find myself looking for real estate in Florida. I do that on the annual. When I get depressed about living in the cold and the dark, the days are short, the nights are long. I I feel it. I feel it deep inside, and I like look online. I'm like, oh, look at these houses for sale in Florida where it's always sunny, it never snows. Set me straight if you have the facts. Could you possibly get snow in Florida? I think there's a certain parallel where it just never happens. Like maybe if you lived right on the border of Georgia, you could get a snow, not every year, but once in a while. And then if you live like south of Orlando, it's never going to happen. And then I will have my guarantees that I need to live south of, I don't know, south of Orlando, south of Tampa, all the way in Miami. I have never heard of Miami getting snow. I took my, let's see, B12 that dissolves under my tongue because I went on my journey of discovering what kind of B12 I could take. And I took, I'm going to have to look, Chanza Piedra, which is a stone breaker. And that got me into a conversation with ChatGPT. I will tell you about that. I think I can flip away from this screen and it won't interrupt my live broadcast. So, okay. So I hope my video is still going. Let me come back and check. I just flipped a tab over. So on my ChatGPT chat, I said, hey, listen, ChatGPT, I am taking this thing called Chanza Piedra, and I want to know if it's going to help break up my gallbladder stones. And you know what? They said no. They said it's known to help break up kidney stones, which I do have kidney stones, but they don't bother me. But not necessarily to break up gallstones. And I was like, well, that's disappointing. Squirrel. Hello, squirrel. We have black squirrels up here in Canada. Let me see if I can. Yeah, no, it jumped away. There's a bear tree and there's a pine tree. And if the squirrel had stayed in the bear tree, I could have shown it to you, but it jumped into the pine tree. So it's all covered up by the green pine needles. So I had this whole conversation with ChatGPT about my gallbladder because I was like, look, man, I'm in a tight spot because I live in Canada, and so I have to do what the healthcare providers say. I don't have the freedom of choice that I would in the States. Or maybe I'm just tricking myself, and maybe there are doctors who would do something off of the mainstream. But usually the case is that the doctors in Canada want to stay within the guidelines. And so the recommended guidelines would say, if my gallbladder is full of stones and causing me pain, then I need to remove the entire gallbladder. But I know that that isn't optimal because that results in the liver dumping bile directly into the intestines instead of the gallbladder regulating the bile production and putting it into the intestines appropriately, and that way there is no damage to the cells of the intestine. Well, then that gets me thinking, if it came the worst of the worst and everyone said, forget about it, you've got to get your gallbladder removed, that I would need something to protect the cells of my intestines. And I was like, ding, 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 I know of something. I know that NRF2 stimulates the liver to produce 300% more antioxidants. And antioxidants protect cells. And 300% more production would mean more cellular protection for my intestines should my gallbladder be removed and the bile be dumped directly into my intestines. I would want to give my cells the best fighting chance against cellular damage. I would want to boost my antioxidant production by 300%, and I would want to be on NRF2, but I haven't been on NRF2 in a while. It is all natural, and it is, like 5 natural ingredients working together in synergy to stimulate the liver to produce its own antioxidants on high, right? Like set to high and instead of set to regular. And I can't possibly eat enough antioxidants. Number one, I don't eat a good enough diet. And number two, it's impossible. Like I could eat nothing but oranges and still fall short. But the liver can. the liver produces its own. I learned in high school about eating more antioxidants, but I don't recall anyone ever telling me that the liver produces its own antioxidants. So, high school biology didn't tell the whole picture. High school health, that was a fun course. I liked it because it was an easy grade. I didn't really like it for the course material. It was all kind of awkward. These are your organs. But I did enjoy anatomy. I enjoyed anatomy. I enjoyed learning the parts of the eye and the parts of the ear and the bones of the body and the systems of the body. You know, this is the respiratory and this is the circulatory and this is the, the skeletal. I enjoyed it. And I think part of enjoying that was because it was just added vocabulary. Like, I know about my radius and my ulna, and I know about my clavicles, and it made me feel smart to have a broad vocabulary. But then I didn't go into any medical field, but I did go into a vocabulary building field. Something to that. So after I finished my coffee, I filled my cup up with warm water because I thought warm water is healthy. You know what? Hey, ChatGPT, what are the benefits of drinking warm water? Because I know. What are the benefits of drinking warm water? And we're going to find out together because I've heard that there are benefits, but I can't name them off the top of my head. Scrolling down. ChatGPT is going to be like, you have used up all of your data for today. Come back again another day. Let's see. Sorry for the clicky sounds. It improves digestion, soothes digestive discomfort. I wonder if gallstone pain is digestive discomfort. Detoxifies, flushes out toxins. I need lots of that. Sweating and urination, both of which are natural processes for detoxification. Drinking warm water in the morning or after meals might support the body in flushing out waste and toxins. It aids in the removal of waste, boosting circulation, encouraging smoother bowel movements. Warm water can support your body in removing waste more effectively. Oh, come on, scroll easier for me. Relieves stress, promotes relaxation. Oh, okay. I don't need calm. I need to be amped up. I need to be productive. Helps with sleep. Warm water before bed can relax the body and mind and potentially lead to better sleep. Maybe I need to start doing that. Improves your metabolism. Drinking warm water. Stop doing that. Where does it say? Improves metabolism. Some studies suggest drinking warm water. Oh, you know what? I want to turn that sound off when it does that. Turn off notification banners for Signal. Yeah, let's do that. Signal chat. Expend more energy to regulate its internal temperature. And that can boost metabolism. Support your goals of weight loss. I'm not trying to lose weight, but it would be nice. Appetite control. Drinking warm water before your meal can reduce hunger. Well, yeah, I don't know that has anything to do with the temperature of the water. Just drinking water, you'll feel fuller. Increase calorie burning. While modest, may slightly increase your body's calorie burning. Improve skin health. Hydrate your skin. Just overall hydration is good. Helps with sinus and nasal relief. Ooh. Aids in joint and muscle pain relief and improves your hydration. Drinking warm water offers numerous benefits. So I am drinking warm water after my coffee, and I hope it gives me some benefits. Other than that, I have played Atlas Earth this morning. I play Atlas Earth because it is going to pay me back over time. I don't put any money into it. I just play the game, and it is paying me to play, or it's paying me to watch the advertisements, really. So I watch my advertisements and I get Atlas bucks, and then I spend those Atlas bucks on little parcels, and those parcels accrue um, portions of a penny per second, and it builds up over time. So here, let me look it up. I'll tell you what I have earned on Atlas Earth. If you want to play Atlas Earth, I will send you a link. Hold on. Atlas Earth. Ugh, sometimes it does not load on my phone, so we're going to have to talk for a minute. I have seen other people put a lot of money into the game to get money back out of the game, but it takes so long to get that money back. And there are ways to play where you don't put any of your own money into it. So that's what I choose to do, because I'm broke as a joke. And you can reinvest back into the game. Like, say that there is money coming to you inside the game, you can put that back into the game and not withdraw it from the game. But I would like to get to the point where I can withdraw from the game, but I have plans to put it back into the game. I'm telling you, Atlas Earth is going to pay me a salary one day. Not soon, but someday. And that's all right for a little game that just has you watch advertisements for pennies. Come on, don't be shy. I feel like I have to clear my caches often in order to keep the game running smoothly. So I'm getting good at that. So that's another thing I did this morning. I cleared the cache on my husband's tablet, and I cleared the cache on my phone. I haven't cleared the cache on my laptop. I'm going to have to ask ChatGPT how to do that. As a full-time student online, I use my laptop quite a bit, but my children also use my laptop to do their homework. So it gets quite a bit of use, and quite, I would say, it's got to be getting filled up in its caches. So I will ask ChatGPT to teach me how to clear the cache in my laptop so that keeps running smoothly for me. I'm pursuing a degree in cybersecurity. I don't have all the confidence in the world that I will ever get there, but maybe I will. Maybe that'll happen. But I do feel like along the way, I'm learning other skills that will be useful to get some job. The school also promotes becoming an entrepreneur, and I don't know about that. Like, maybe that's my thing. Maybe I become an entrepreneur and start my own business or invest in a franchise. I do have 4 children. I can put them to work. And that's good for them and good for me if they are interested. I'm not going to force them to do something they don't want to do. But, serve me. I won't do that. But if it's something they're interested in, if they want, like I have one child who was just chomping at the bit to work. And if I can put him to work and he would enjoy that, it's profitable for the family, then I would go for that. His grandparents, my in-laws, they make sausages each year. Like, they make their own. They buy the ground meat. No, they buy the meat and they grind the meat and put in their own spices and buy the wraps and stuff the sausages in their garage, like with the whole family come together to all participate and do different steps of the process, tying them with strings and cutting them off and hanging them in the smoker. And they have a smoker in the backyard, and then bringing them in, and they have to be bagged and frozen, all of the steps. And one of my children just absolutely loves the busyness of it all and the different jobs that can be done along the the process, and he just enjoys it so much. He's like, I want to open a business. I want to make sausages. I'm like, hey, that's great energy. That's good energy. It is not loading. It is like 90.05% loaded. I'm going to try again. Because I want to show you guys Atlas Earth. It's a really fun game for very tiny profit. Hey, it loaded. So, I don't know if you can see this, but it is showing that I have made $15.59 of accrued income on Atlas Earth. And I can have, there's a way that I can invite people right in here. I can send an invite to you. Send invite here. And I'm going to put it in the chat. How can I view it? Hold on. If I go into my messages and I look at a text message, here we go. And it says, if you join Atlas Earth at atlasearth.com, use the code, I'm putting it in the chat, code for Atlas Earth, KHOJBQ, then you will get bonuses for using my code, and I will get bonuses for you using my code. And then you can invite a friend and get bonuses. So it's like when they buy their first parcel, you get some Atlas bucks. And when they buy their 10th parcel, you get more Atlas bucks so that you can buy more parcels. And you can get passport badges from the different places that you visit. And you can get diamonds, and diamonds give you spins on a wheel, and those spins can get you more Atlas bucks, and you spend those Atlas bucks on more parcels, and the more parcels you own, the faster you accrue income. And you can have the base rate that accrues, or you can watch an ad to boost the rate that accrues. And then the more passport badges you have, the higher your boost rate will be. I've had lots of conversations about that with ChatGPT, like what is the optimal strategy? And I was like, would you give this advice to everyone? And ChatGPT is so diplomatic. It was like, well, it would depend on their goal in the game. If they have money to invest in the game and they don't plan to make their investment back for a longer period of time, I would give them different advice. But in your case, you don't want to put it in any investment, and you want to maximize your profitability. I'll give you different advice, to profit sooner rather than delay. So fun conversations as far as I'm concerned. I like to talk strategy. I like to think strategy. I think my brain is a very loud, very busy place. So this is my outlet. I'm talking about all the things that are running through my brain. And about how busy I've been today. I listened to a sermon. It was about the prodigal son. It's part of a 3-part series by John MacArthur. Very interesting. He wants to talk about, first of all, the son who is the prodigal, the one who left and squandered. And then he wants to talk about the brother who was there all along. But you can see, even though he was there, it really isn't a sign that he loved the father any more than the son who was basically drop dead, give me my inheritance, I'm out of here. And then the father finally focusing in on him and, his love and kindness toward his children. So I've been, that's been having the wheels turn in another direction. And just the busyness. I'm like sitting here talking instead of doing the busy work that I need to get to, like doing the dishes, doing the laundry, and unpacking boxes. I don't want to do any of that, but I know I need to eventually. Eventually, I'll get around to it. No, I won't. um, I would like. Oh, I just got a shiver. I would like to get around to building shelves or finding shelves or making shelves. I don't know, but I need so many shelves to put everything away. What else have I done today? Coffee, Atlas Earth, sermon, setting up setting up not Facebook, setting up YouTube, right? This is my first live video. So 24 hours ago, I asked YouTube in this brand new account if I could go live, and they said you have to wait 24 hours. So during that 24-hour wait, I was like, well, I could still upload a video, I just can't go live. So I recorded a video yesterday with an app called, I believe, OBP. If I close this, will you go bye-bye? OBS Studio. With the OBS Studio, I was able to record a video and then upload the video to YouTube as my episode 1 without actually going live. Today, I'm live. And I'm like, just check my microphone right now. Like, what if I've been talking all of this time and the microphone wasn't even on? That would be hilarious because I'm not a professional. And I don't pretend to be. I like to tell jokes and I like to build my vocabulary, not only in English, but also in Mandarin and in Spanish and in Persian. So if you speak any of those languages and you have like interesting words you want to teach or like grammar points you want to make, we can discuss that. I geek out on that stuff. I love languages. So like if you want to say ni hao, I will say ni hao back to you and maybe give you a ni hao ma and we'll get the conversation going. And if you speak Spanish, send out an hola and I will say hola back to you and we will, buenos dias and get the day rolling. And then if you speak Persian, pop in there a sobh bekhair or a shab bekhair and I will say hello back to you and we will try to communicate in all of those languages because I really enjoy it and I enjoy the different accents and I enjoy the different foods. And if you want to talk about those things, I would love to talk about those things. I think the most underrated, under-talked about dish in China is the egg and tomato stir fry over rice. That has been a favorite for so many years. And apparently it is a crossover into Iranian food as well. So the Persians have a dish of fried egg and tomato over rice. And let me tell you about it right now. What you do is you dice an onion and you dice up some garlic and you get it frying in a pan with a neutral oil of your choice. I don't care. And then when that is like smelling awesome, and you want the onions to clarify and the garlic to become fragrant. Those are the signs you're looking for. You're going to add the eggs. Put the eggs in there. I have a family of 6, so I go ahead and put a full dozen eggs in there, like 2 eggs per person. And I fry those in with the onions and the garlic, and I will add salt. Again, you do what you like. And then I will add in a whole can of diced tomatoes. So I think they're 12-ounce cans. I could be wrong. Maybe they're 10-ounce cans, 10, 12, whatever it is, 13.5. I put the whole can of diced tomatoes in there, and then I let those flavors simmer together. So the eggs are fully scrambled before I put in the diced tomatoes. And I let that cook for quite some time because some of the liquid is going to cook off of the diced tomatoes, but not all of it because I want it to be juicy and I want those flavorful juices to flavor the rice. So I put it over plain white rice and I allow the juices of the egg, tomato, garlic, and onion, and salt and pepper. I don't use pepper, whatever you choose, to just flavor the rice underneath it. And what I used to do also, I don't think I'll continue to do it, but I used to also flavor the rice with chicken bouillon. So I had chicken bouillon rice with the egg and tomato over that. And I think that Chinese people would enjoy that. Well, I know they would. And then I think Persian people would also enjoy that. And I bet if Spanish speakers tried it, they would like it too. It's just not a dish that they came up with. Unless you want to tell me I'm wrong and say that is from this Spanish speaking country as well, then I want to hear you out. I am open-minded. When I found out that the Persians had an egg and tomato over rice dish, I wasn't like, no, that's China only. But that's one of my favorite things that I used to eat over in China. That and the cabbage. I don't know if it's like garlic, ginger, cabbage in a sauce. And you have that with rice, and it is good. It is really good. And they had like this, I don't know if it's truly sweet and sour. Maybe it's more like a teriyaki. They had this eggplant in a sauce, and that was really good. And they had this thing called wosun, and I don't even know what it is in English, but it tasted kind of like corn chips, but it was a vegetable, and that was really good. And they would prepare it very similar to the cabbage. Da bai cai. That would be my favorite meal. I would get the shihongshi chaojidan, which is the egg and tomato, and I would get the wosun, which is the corn chip flavored vegetable, and I would get the da bai cai, which is the cabbage, and then just have rice. And I would eat all of that all by myself, and you would have to order something else for yourself because that's all for me. I also did love the fresh pulled noodles where they are just like pulling and pulling and pulling a piece of dough into 100 noodles, and they pop it into the water and you watch it boil right in front of you. And they put that in the pan and stir fry it with whatever meat, vegetables, and you just eat it right there in the shop where it was just made, just cooked, so fresh. I used to love that. I can't do that anymore because I'm sure that's all wheat. But I do miss it. I miss the la mian. La means pull. Mian means flour, right? Wheat. So they pull the wheat or they pull the pasta right there in front of you. It is so delicious. So that was a fun time in my life living in China. So many stories. So many stories. And jokes. I love jokes. Let me see if I can think of a Chinese joke. I don't know. Nothing's coming to mind. Let's see. So different phases of my life. I learned Spanish in high school and college, made it my minor. And when I graduated college, I could not find an opportunity with Spanish speaking, but there was a group that would come to our college and recruit people to spend a summer in China. So I thought, that's something to consider. I'll try it. So I worked for 1 year and saved up enough money for a plane ticket over to China. And that was like right at the time of the SARS epidemic. SARS was huge, and all advice was wait for the epidemic to end and then go. But somehow the recruiter convinced the authorities in my life that I would be fine. And by authorities in my life, I mean my father and my pastor. I wanted to listen to them. This is an alarm. It says, do some laundry and dishes if you haven't already. It reminds me to keep those things moving along because I will get distracted with other things, and that alarm will be like, get up and do that, and then sit back down. But I don't listen to myself. I gotta have somebody to rebel against. So, I got off track with my story. The authorities in my life did not want me to go over to China, but the recruiter somehow convinced them that I could go over, and even if I did get SARS, I would be fine, or something of that nature. So they turned it around and said, okay, you can go. So I gave my 2 weeks notice and left my comfy office job, and I flew over to China with the group, and I taught English for the summer. And at the end of the summer, they said, we can offer you a full-time position with the school teaching English to our students. You will teach them English in English, and they will have another teacher who will teach them English in Mandarin, so that that teacher can teach them like the grammar rules and things in their mother tongue so that they can understand it more clearly. Whereas if I were trying to teach them, the grammatical structure, they would be even more confused because they don't have that vocabulary. Whereas the Chinese teacher can say it in Chinese for the students to understand what is meant by that and why the structure is that way. Because we have rules and then we don't follow those rules, and they might want to know why that is. And there's probably not even a really good reason, but it's just what we do. But at least they can hear that in their mother tongue. I will tell you this funny story. My first year teaching at that school, so I did decide to stay for the school year and teach English there. And this little boy comes up to me on the very first day in school. I'm walking toward my office, and he says, "Good day, teacher." And I was like, "Well, hello." And he says, "I like your trousers, teacher." And I said, "Was your teacher last year from Australia?" He said, "How'd you know, teacher?" I said, "Just a hunch." This little Chinese face was speaking in a full-on Australian accent. I was busting a gut laughing. I was like, that is going to be so funny for the rest of my life. Oh my goodness. I was like, what a pleasant child. Good day, teacher. That's a moment that I want to relive again and again for the rest of my life. Like, I will take that child home with me. No, it was a good one. And then just outside the school, there was this little shop, a little row of shops, really. And a friend of mine went into one of the shops to get a haircut. And they were cutting the hair, and they wanted to make sure that they weren't hurting her, but we could not understand. This was at the very beginning of my time in China, and for all four of us, really. They're brand new to China, very little vocabulary we're working with. And the lady keeps saying tong bu tong, and she wants to know whether she's hurting her, but we don't understand. We cannot understand what she is saying, and she keeps pinching and saying tong bu tong, and she goes, ouch. And then the lady's like cutting more and saying tong bu tong, and we're like, ting bu dong, I don't understand. Ting bu dong means I hear but I don't understand. And she's like tong bu tong, and gives her another pinch, and she's like, ouch. And then the communication just isn't happening. So some school children walk by, and we're like, hey, do you speak any English? And the children goes, yes, some English. And so the lady goes, pinch, tong bu tong. And the child goes, pain or no pain? And we're like, oh, she's been asking all this time, am I hurting you? Like, when I cut your hair, am I pulling too hard? Am I hurting you? And to understand pain, she was pinching, am I hurting you? And so she would say, ouch. And in China, like the hairdresser didn't know the word ouch. She would have said, ayo, that would have been pain in that place in that time. So because she said, ouch, or stop that, there was just no communication happening. So that was very interesting that we had to pull this child in off the street. Any English? Do you speak English? And the child was like, some English. And they were very helpful in helping us understand the entire situation, that she just wanted to make sure she was not hurting. So she was hurting to ask if she was hurting. Goodness. So many adventures. So I like to travel, but I haven't traveled in a very long time because I've just felt, number one, I have no money for that. And number two, my children make that very difficult because they've been so little for so long. So now that they are 12, 11, 10, and 8 years old, yes, I stacked them in very close, that maybe traveling could be an option. Maybe they would be pleasant to travel with. And I guess I will save more stories for another day, more conversations with ChatGPT for another day, talking about health. Let me know if you want to hear more about that NRF2 stuff. That is very interesting science. NRF2 and what was the other one I used to take? I used to take NRF1, NRF2, and a third one. I need to relearn all of that stuff for my health because now my health is going back downhill. I've had so many health struggles over the years. I had a bad hip for a very long time and I couldn't take very many steps a day. I had to budget. If I go upstairs, I need to do everything I need to do upstairs before I come back down. And then when I'm on the main floor, I have to do everything I need to do on the main floor before going back up. I am not doing any more steps than I need to because I have a limited stockpile of steps that I can use in a day, and then I'm just done. And it was our chiropractor. We would go to the chiropractor week after week for years and years and years. And I was always pregnant, so he couldn't take an x-ray. Once I was done being pregnant and, having nursing babies and all of that, when I knew I was done having children, he took an x-ray and he found the issue and he corrected the issue. He found the therapy that I needed. And so I would regularly do this certain exercise, and slowly over time, the need for that has faded, and now I can walk an unlimited number of steps per day. Do I do it? No, I'm a lazy butt, but I know that I can. I know that I can jog, and I know that when I want to, I can sprint. I can full out sprint for short bursts, and so I feel like I am in a much better place now. So I'm going to actually cut off the video here, soon, because I'm going to get busy doing the other things I need to do. I am going to unload the dishwasher and load it. I am going to move a load of laundry through, and I am going to unpack some boxes, and I am going to write in my Bible study. And one more thing, I am going to work on something. I have a document on my phone that I'm working on because I want to put a proposal to my church to start a basketball ministry. And maybe they do and maybe they don't, but it's nice to have a proposal written up. So maybe it doesn't happen this year or next year, but maybe it does happen eventually. And they just have that proposal on file of how a basketball ministry might work for our church. And then I do wish our church had a ministry for speakers of other languages. That would be really fun to have, like a vocabulary building class for speakers of English as a second language, for people who want their mother tongue to be instilled in their children. We could do a vocabulary building workshops in Spanish, in Mandarin, in Cantonese, in Persian, for the people who are in our church that are speakers of other languages. I know that there is a family of German speakers, and I know that there is a family of French speakers. There are all these languages. I wish that they would be preserved and shared and passed along to the next generation. And there is an opportunity for that if there's a structure for that. And I don't speak every language, but I still see the value in it, right? Like my children, because they go to a Canadian school, their second language is automatically French, and they are picking it up slowly but surely. They can say the set phrases, they can count, they can ask you what your name is, ask you how you're doing. And that is beautiful, even though I don't necessarily speak French. Je ne parle pas français. I still see value in learning French, for their sakes. They say there's a Persian phrase that says every language you learn is another soul gained. And I guess what they're trying to convey is it opens up another set of people to you, another set of friends that you can possibly make. So I'm reaching out. You can be my friend and speak with me in whatever language you choose. And you know what? Worst comes to worst, we can ask ChatGPT to help us communicate until we can communicate on our own. All right. So I'm wrapping it up, and I will see you next time. Ending the stream here. I'm going to go get busy. Bye.